You would be
list.
very surprised, Pascal, especially in Jen's first run, which was, it was a fairly ragtag for a considerable portion of it.
We had no idea what we were doing.
Definitely came on stronger towards the end. But one of the union leaders that we met with, I will not say who, and I don't want to give away too much information because a lot of people watch, but I can assure you that this person wanted to endorse Jen, but feared the wrath of the person at the top, basically bringing the hammer down if they so dared to get out of line. And I think that there is something to be said, especially this is much more prevalent in the Democratic Party than in the Republican Party.
That's true.
Where there really is this hierarchical structure that is in place that if you get out of line, you will be removed. You will be replaced with somebody else who will do the bidding of the hierarchy.
I think there's some truth to that. I think that the Democratic Party works in a certain kind of they have they have these kind of interpersonal coalitions of association that are not rooted on mutual interests, but really kind of fealty to leadership. That if you don't adhere to the hierarchy, you're going to get cut out. And I think that there's a lot of ways in which that works to the disadvantage of the rank and file. I am not a member of the Democratic Party. I haven't been a Democrat in years. I'm not a Republican by any stretch of the imagination either. But I feel that there is many ways that the Democratic Party has got to be challenged for us to be able to find a way to create a kind of politics. I'm much more interested at this particular stage of my life in grassroots politics and movement politics, organizing grassroots members of society, giving them political education. I'm very much of a fan of like the SNCC, Fannie Lou Hamer, Ella Baker model, where we go in and we actually talk to people about the problems that they have and give them the political education to challenge the actual mechanisms of obstruction that help facilitate having them the kind of poor state politics that we have now. Because I don't find the electoral politics in the way that exists today as being a means to effectively find the solutions that we need to challenge the status quo around the issues that we're concerned about for our constituencies.
This is why I'm going further and further to the left. This is exactly why. Like, I'm realizing, look, I am technically registered as a Democrat only because where we live and we have closed primaries, if I'm not a Democrat in Broward County, I can't participate in our politics. It's just the way it is. So I don't have a real choice, but I don't agree with them philosophically. There's no there. That's just a little corporate tool sitting there bringing the Mick resistance to the other corporate tool on the other side. And meanwhile, nothing's getting done by design because all the money's being siphoned to the top. And we're all fighting amongst ourselves over like fringe and identity issues when the biggest issue is labor. And that's and where everybody sort of needs to understand that it's a top bottom thing. It's the class issue is massive. And it masquerades. Well, like it's a class issue. It's an up and down, a top bottom issue, a race issue. That's the defining thing. And nobody wants to really address that because that would be very unifying.
Well, the labor issue is the race issue. There is something to be said about economic prosperity and the type of policies that a real strong labor movement led right now by someone I finally had the privilege of meeting in person the other day, Chris Smalls.
Excellent. We've had him on our show.
Could not ask for a better leader. And what makes him an even better leader is that he's really black. He speaks like he's from the street. He knows the streets. And he ain't there to be a white man's, little errand boy. He is going to lead the way that needs to be led. And he's not having it. Again, he's like a modern day Malcolm X, and people are really scared shitless of him.
They should be.
As they should be. And I would be inclined to tell him, just make sure you got good people around you, always watching your back, because he can rally people. He can rally people. He can make them believe that anything is possible if we work together. And the way, I got to tell you, Pascal, the best thing he did, bar none, after they won that union race was when he went on Tucker Carlson and the way he handled himself.
He won't be invited back, mind you.
Maybe not.
But I did love that appearance.
The way that he was able to redirect that conversation when he wanted him to just go and bash AOC. You got Tucker Carlson to say, I'm not a union guy, but we could definitely use more balance with labor in this country. And I'm thinking that's the greatest freaking thing you could ever hope to hear, especially from somebody like that.
Right. Well, Tucker Carlson is trying to act like a full progressive nowadays because he realizes that the condition of the country economically requires that kind of crony capitalism that he's been such a sponsor of for years doesn't sell anymore. And Chris Smalls was very adept in his ability to kind of play Carlson's fake faux populism in a way that he got his talking points out very effectively. And I was very glad to see it. And I applaud him as well. I think he's very important. I think it's a very good thing that we're seeing more young black, brown, white males involved in these movements around materialist economic issues such as labor, such as work, such as the ability to find good union jobs, particularly as a company like Amazon. And I'm very, very happy to see the potentiality of someone like Chris Smalls and that his capacity to possibly change up the dynamics that we have here. So I agree with you that he is definitely a bright star in the constellation that we have ahead of us. And I look forward to seeing more of him. And I just think that you guys, this message that you guys hear, this is, a local program. And the fact that you allow someone like myself from our podcast, which, someone would consider a little radical for the political mainstream, if you will. I really appreciate that we're able to be invited upon here to talk about our politics, and we can actually find so much commonality and made people realize that, like, listen, this is not some kind of like scary kind of, radical idea we're talking about. We're talking about politics. It's about the bread and butter issues that Americans need to face: union jobs, healthcare, Medicare for all, a stable education, quality education, trying to save public education for our citizens, quality housing, affordable housing as well. And these are things that one time the Democratic Party at least behaved or acted like they cared about. But over the last few years, they become more and more of a mimic of the Republican Party.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.